Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 732. Now, in today's episode, we are going into the pitfalls, the problems, the concerns when it comes to the law of attraction. Now, before you go, Joseph, I don't believe in the law of attraction. It's a load of woo-la-la stuff. I get it, I understand. Stick with me because I'm going beyond that. I'm going into the reasons as to why we don't have the life that we want on autopilot, and even worse, when it comes to this, how life can show up with things which aren't serving us based on what's happening within our mind. That's what we're talking about. I just kind of called it the law of attraction, the problem with it and what to do about it. But you can utilize this for any goal and dream. Because I'm going to presume you've got a goal and a dream, right? You've got a goal. I don't know if it's to have the financial abundance of, say, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $500,000 a month. I don't know if it's about getting the relationship of your dreams. I don't know if it's about releasing aspects of what no longer serves you to welcome more in, to get that career promotion, to be able to go and start your own business. Whatever it is, we have desires and goals and dreams, and depending on the quality of what's happening within our mind, and more importantly, the unconscious mind, will dictate what is coming back to us. So the law of attraction, ultimately, you go there in the mind, you're meant to be able to attract what you desire. And that is on the assumption that you are embodying it and you're visualizing it and all those things. And if you're an energetic match to that frequency of your desire, technically, you're meant to be able to attract it in your life. Now, if you don't believe in the law of attraction, don't worry, I've got your back, because I'm talking about the other aspect of the biology here, which is the reticular activating system. There's a part in the brain called the reticular activating system, which is designed to be able to search for what has the most meaning upon your thoughts and your feelings and ideas, right? So, if you decide to buy a new car, you know the model that you want, you tend to see it everywhere, right? Because that's your focus of your attention. You learn a new word for the first time and you see it everywhere despite not seeing it before then. Why? Because it's in your attention. And that means your unconscious mind is always working to look for the things that you're experiencing the most. The ever-present thoughts, feelings, belief systems, the decisions that we made, which will kind of create this internal representation of how we perceive reality. So to break things down a little bit more simplistically, you do not see the world in an objective way. You always see it in a subjective way. You take in the information around you, and they say between 2 and 5 billion bits of information every single moment, every single second. Now, you can't be aware of that information consciously because you go crazy. It won't feel nice to be able to have that. You'll be hiding under your desk, not being able to compute anymore because it's an overload of information. So your brain, your unconscious mind, does a fantastic job of breaking things down to easier pieces of information. But in doing so, you will start to generalize how you see the world around you. You start to distort your world, and you'll even begin to delete aspects of your reality. But why and how? Well, it's going to really be the driving force of your belief systems, the decisions that you've made in the past. It's going to be about your values. You see, if you don't believe that you're good enough, of course, you're going to generalize limiting beliefs and what I'm looking for, perception or projection to the external world. You're going to delete information, delete opportunities. You're going to distort your own self-esteem. So therefore, you are not seeing the world in a way that is absolutely objective. So how does this tie in to the problem with the law of attraction? Well, typically, they usually say that, look, focus on your desire. Put all your attention, all your energy, go there in the mind and you'll go there in the body. Now, biologically, that's kind of true to a degree. Whatever you visualize with a significant set of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and even sounds, your unconscious mind is building up that energy to look for that thing. But the problem is that you are ultimately a mirror. You are a mirror to the external world. And that's why I say your perception is your projection. Okay? Your perception is your projection. So whatever you perceive to be true, you are projecting in your reality. So let's just say you have the goal and desire to be able to earn $10,000 every single month. Let's make it in a monetary goal here. Now, if you have that absolute visualization and you meditate upon it and you really kind of feel those feelings, is that good? Yes. I'm not saying that's bad, but you are missing the steps. Because if you are desiring that and you've got that in your mind, but you are a mirror projecting limiting thoughts and beliefs still, that will overweigh any form of visualization. Here's what I mean. You really visualize, you really feel the feelings of having that $10,000 in your bank account every single month, but on the inside, unconsciously, you believe you're not worthy. Then of course, you're not worthy of that goal. Of course, you're not worthy of that money. If you believe that you're not enough, well, how are you that vibrational match despite just imagining? Because you can't fake it until you make it. So if you can imagine, if you are a mirror, right, and you are just reflecting out all those desires, but now we have a shattered mirror. What's going to happen? Well, we're reflecting all this misinformation, this kind of different directions, and you're not in a clean, clear alignment. So if you are just projecting into your world that desire, but unconsciously it's surrounded by the beliefs that you have about yourself or the world, or if you have feelings of scarcity, worries, and doubts, if that's your underlying feeling through life, that is your underlying guide in life. So no matter how much you go there in the mind, which is a positive thing to do because you're sending this signal, but you've got to undo that old projection, that old limiting thoughts and beliefs, and even limiting decisions, the decisions that we've made about ourselves, the decisions that we made about the external world. Maybe we've gone through past traumas, and that's the underlying story that we're projecting out. You see, let's change the story to a relationship. If you've gone through significantly abusive relationships, and then you start to get into the law of attraction or just guided imagery to your desire for your perfect person, but those past wounds, those past certain significant events and relationships where you were used or you were verbally abused or even physically, you are wounded. Maybe there's a part of you that is just saying, no, I don't want that relationship because I'm not worthy of it again, maybe. Maybe you may be projecting your desire, but your unconscious mind is projecting and attracting the same kind of person because that thinks that's all we're worth. Now it gets even deeper than this. When you think about most issues, how long have they been around? Maybe they've been around since our teenage years. Maybe they've been around since we were a baby. Now, there could be inner parts of you that are still there to a degree. You see, that's where we made the decisions about ourselves, how we've made decisions about the world. So if we've gone through a significant event when we were younger, maybe there's that part of us which hasn't fully evolved to our present age. So there's that part of you kind of holding back, that hasn't had the love or the nurture or the security or the wisdom and knowledge. And if you could imagine, if you really desire something, you really want it consciously, but there's that, look, we talk about like inner child, but so let's just have that as an example. There's that inner child of us, that representation of us, which never fully grew. Then of course, it's going to be a lot of fear there. There's going to be a lot of anxiety, worries, and doubts, and it's going to cause us to feel stuck. So we can go there in the mind and visualize it. But remember, beneath the surface, there's this driving force. And that driving force is your unconscious mind. And you've got to make a decision that actually yes, I'm going to do that, but I need to kind of do the inner healing, the inner growing, the resolving of the limiting beliefs. Now, the other thing about the law of attraction is sometimes we get so fixated on the goal that we actually delete things which are better. We go, I want that $10,000 a month. I want that certain kind of person. And yet, despite desiring that and specifying it to that detail, you are actually being closed off to maybe something better. You like got the blinkers on, you're going, I only want this. But you're missing all the other good things. So how do we get around that problem when it comes to the law of attraction? Because a lot of the times they say, like, just focus on the thing that you want. Well, you've got to go and do it two ways. You always say, there's my magic word or sentence that I say to all goals in my life and everyone that I teach in my program, and even now, right? If you've got a goal and you feel like, yes, this is the goal that I want, just add this sentence afterwards. That sentence is going to be, I want this goal or something better. Now, what does that do? You are still focused on the goal, but you're actually open to the possibility, the potentiality that there's something potentially better for you. Let's say you want that 10,000, you may be missing out on the extra 2,000 to make it 12,000 because you're so fixated on the 10. You're so fixated on that relationship that other people are walking by who are a perfect match for you. So you always go, I want this goal, this dream, this desire. I want this or something better. Now, I said there was two parts to this because once again, we get tied into the goal that itself, the thing, you could say. And I said this, I think, on the previous episode, or at least on the after show. And most people think that they want what they want. So I want $10,000, but think about that in your mind for a second. $10,000 every single month. It's arbitrary, it's a number. It's not that tangible. But once you start to go into the $10,000 per month, or it could be $50,000 depending where you are and what you desire, think about what that will give you. Because you don't want the 10,000, you want the freedom and security that it will give you. For example, it may give you the security to invest more, it may give you the security to secure a home or a down payment. It might be able to give you the ability to travel. It might give you the ability to have a university thing for your children, like a fund. Like, you don't want the money, you want what the money will give you. If you think about that perfect relationship, think about the meaning behind that goal. Maybe it's sex, maybe it's intimacy, maybe it's adventure, maybe it's connecting, the hobbies. Like, there's so much more. You don't want the relationship, you want what it will give you. We can say the same thing about our career, we can say the same thing about our health. If you want good health, great, yeah, that's good, but what will that give you? You see, that's the leverage that you want. That's the meaning of that. That's the value of your desire. So you want to get in your mind, I want this or something better, but this is why it's so important to me. Go beyond the goal, and that means the secret part of this is but now you're tuning into things which are more than the goal, which amplifies. Think about that now. You're amplifying your energy because you're amplifying the value to your unconscious mind. Most of the time, your unconscious mind is going, look, I don't want this. It's safer to stay the same. That's what it's trying to do. But if you give it enough momentum and enough reason and enough amplification in your energy as to why you want it, you're going to start to get your unconscious mind on the path of your desire. So remember, you are like this mirror to the world. And you've got to ask yourself, yes, I want this goal. I want this or something better. I want what it will give me. But what am I amplifying within that? Am I coming from a place of knowing that I'm worthy of it? Am I coming from a place that I am deserving and enough for it? Because if not, the problem is that you feel divided because your unconscious mind is saying no, 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 and trying to get out of that while you're trying to go in the other direction to your goal, which creates a conflict. Wouldn't it be better to have congruency and alignment so your one whole energy is congruent to that desire rather than being conflicted and going in different directions, or your unconscious mind is putting on the brakes? That's what it's doing. So do the inner world, don't do that wishful thinking. And the other thing is that a lot of the time is a big issue is only visualizing and not acting. In order to do the law of attraction or law of getting what you want, you gotta do the law of action. I see so many people just go there in the mind and they say, I don't know why it's not showing up. Well, you gotta do something about it. You've got to do the work. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a blueprint. You've got to have the steps. Think about your desire and then walk it backwards. If you have trouble, learn from someone, model someone, get their expertise, invest in it. And I'm not talking about me here, I'm talking about whatever goal that you want. If you want to get better at business, I would probably find someone who's really good at business and understand their steps and strategies. So that means you can take action upon them. So if you're going to do the law of attraction, you've got to do the law of action. Do what has to be done, and that always reminds me of my favorite quote, as you always know, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and act upon it with conviction. Therefore, you will be aligned with that desire. That's what we've got to do. So you've got to ask yourself, am I doing the work? And be honest. If we are the mirror, look in the mirror and go, am I being the person doing the work that has to be done, which is a vibrational match to the frequency of my desire? Because if you're desiring the wealth, the relationship, the career, the finances, all of that stuff, but you on the inside, you are the vibrational match of scarcity, of low confidence, of self-doubt, of worry, anxiety, you're not that vibrational match of your desire. That's one of the big issues, and it makes us feel like we're broken. It makes us feel like this stuff doesn't work. And there's a reason why it does not work. It's because we're not being very conscious about it. We're not being clear. We're going too much into the wonderful words of the woo la la. I'm talking about the biology here. I'm talking about what you have to do to be able to live the life that you want in a way that serves you. So how can we get around this little problem? Well, the best way that makes you have action is to feel what you desire the most. Think about it. If you are not a vibrational match in your thinking, in your thoughts, in your actions, and your feelings, you're going to attract the similar. You're in scarcity, you're going to get more scarcity in situations. If you have that low confidence, you're going to have a low confidence opportunities. If you're feeling like you're not worthy, well, you're going to find someone who's going to prove that to be true, right? But if you start to think about the goal and think about your desires and then think about what it will give you, ask yourself, what feeling does that give me? If I had that goal right now, and I fully immersed in that experience, and I felt it, and I really understood that feeling on the inside, what is that feeling that it will give you? What is that feeling? Now, once you discover that feeling, or maybe two or three, it is your job to continually feel that feeling as often as possible in everything that you do. You see, if I was thinking about this on my run today, and I was thinking about what are my goals, and I was thinking about the feeling, and the key word came up for me is just abundance. Abundance. Now, if I feel the feeling of abundance in all that I do, I'm going for my run, did like 4 miles, I'm just feeling abundant. I'm seeing the abundance. I'm seeing the nature in abundance. I'm thinking in abundance. I'm feeling that abundance. Well, now I am that vibrational match to my desire. So it's my goal, although say the goal that I want is not in my reality yet, I'm still thinking and feeling at that level. So think about that. What can you do? And I'd be asking myself, what other things can I do which will make me feel abundant? And then I've got some action steps. For example, I could get like $100 bill, put it in my wallet, Go and see the store and go, look, I've got $100. I'm not going to spend it, but I feel abundant, right? We don't make sure we don't spend it. We just look at it every time we open our wallet, and it just makes us that little step, that little energy form, build that bit more. So you've got to consider, what is that vibration, that emotion, that once I achieve my desired goal, that would be the feeling that makes things possible. And then you've got to operate from that feeling the most. How can you do that? Well, listen to music which makes you do that, makes you feel that, for my case, abundance. Watch an inspirational movie, read an inspirational book. Whatever it is, you've got to get your thoughts and your feelings and your neurology into a place of that state of mind. That's all it is. It's a state of mind, a state of emotion, a state of body. If you are having the internal state of anxiety, you're not doing it the right way. And that's why I say, look, let go of the limiting beliefs around that. If you feel not worthy, focus on letting go of that, because that could be the one thing that changes everything, because then you're worthy of that desire. And then when you think of that desire, of what it will give you, you will feel whatever that feeling is. And therefore you're coming from a place of worth of that desire and the energetic feeling of it. You know the reasons as to what it will give you, and therefore you want that or something better. It completes the model of our success, of our desires, with the law of action. That is probably one of the two biggest things are not the visualization, it's the identity. Am I of worth to have that in my life? The unconscious belief. Or am I enough? Or am I of value? Whatever that identity belief is, you've got to make sure that you are totally clean and clear in your identity, in your birthright of having that in your life. Then you want to be able to focus on that feeling of what it will give you. Radiate that far and wide. And of course, that feeling, that emotion, energy in motion is going to be able to create the behavior, the things that we do. You've got to do the work. It is possible, 100% possible. That we've got to realize it's not going to get done by itself. Just take the action. What steps can you do today, every single day with consistency, that will give you a greater leap or step to that goal? That is what has to be done. So heal that mirror. Reflect what you desire and take that massive and inspired action. That means you become the reality that you desire. You begin to project whatever you perceive to be true. And this new truth is one of worth and enough, and there's that perception of the abundance, or whatever the feeling is for you, all the reasons. How could you possibly not get that goal if you start to apply that in your life? Let go of the self-sabotaging beliefs. Get the life that you want, and really, really get highly focused. I like the other thing before we finish off this episode is I have these two key words that I call ferocious focus. Like, ferocious is kind of like a bit of a negative word for some, but it feels good for me, right? When I'm in this ferocious focus, when I'm so tuned in, tapped in, and deeply aligned with my desire, nothing is getting in my way. Like, I will make that a reality. I've done it with my podcast. When I was getting a couple of views, we got it to like 140,000 downloads every single month. If I put my attention, my energy, my focus on that desire, and I start to take action on it, nothing is going to get in my way if I truly want it enough. You just got to want it enough and do the work, and don't fall into the trap of just wishful thinking. So I hope you enjoyed this episode about the problem with the law of attraction or human psychology when it comes to getting what we want, and now you know what to do about it. Now, of course, if you are experiencing a deep unconscious limiting block, such as not being worthy or deserving, if you're experiencing the imposter syndrome, if you're feeling like you're anxious, you're worried, you want to level up your career and business, and you are invested, you can try to apply to our program. And once you do that, you go to josephclough.info/talk, And as you go to josephclough.info/talk, you'll book a time on our calendar. It'll be a one-to-one call with us. And then you'll fill out an application. It just prepares us for the call. And then when you attend to your one-to-one Zoom meeting at the moment, we'll get clear on exactly what you want to let go of. Get clear on exactly what you want to achieve. Figure out what's getting in the way and come up with a customized plan to solve it all within 8 weeks. That's what we do week in, week out. We actually had someone just post in our private group like the most amazing experiences. Not only did they got the goal of getting their self-worth, but it allowed them to be liberated in every single area of their life. Like, it was a good few paragraphs, and I'm just trying to recall it in my memory, which is pretty tricky right now, but it's absolutely life-changing. I mean, why not make a life-changing experience? You got to be invested, you got to be ready, you got to go all in, but we'll support you with that with a fully customized, tailored experience. And once again, that is josephclough.info/talk. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want you to know that you are enough, that you are worthy. It is your birthright to have the inner freedom and even the outer freedom. And I want you at an unconscious level to start to recognize that too. I know it's hard. You might think I'm a liar. You might think I'm just trying to make you feel good. Well, I'm not, because I'm trying to get you to take action, right? I'm not going to just kind of fluff things up and make everything nice and rosy. There's times I'm going to push up against your values, and I don't mind doing that because it'll be a disservice if I did not. But I do want you to know I do believe in you. I believe that you have something within you that you can shine so bright that nothing will get in your way. Where you're so consistent, results are impossible to be ignored. When you're so consistent that abundance is just looking out for you and heading your way, you're like a lighthouse guiding it in. You are that candle in the dark that allows you to enlighten the illusionary darkness and realize what life is really about. That you are love and you are enough. That's my personal truth. You don't have to believe it, and that's fine as well. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to speaking to you in a future one. Many thanks, and goodbye.